Hello everybody, Angels here and welcome to Arknights Prelude to Dawn. The Japanese title is Arknights something something Reimei Zensho. Right, that's what we're gonna be watching today. There's only like 8 episodes of that if I'm not mistaken. And from what I've seen from the casting and from what people were saying, it's gonna cover chapters like 0 to 3, something thereabouts. I think like the first segment of the story in the game. Now, just to clarify, I am an avid Arknights player. I know this story. I know everything that's gonna happen. I know everything that's gonna happen way past that. I think currently I'm at chapter 8, I think, or thereabouts. Yeah, I think I'm stuck around chapter 8 or 9. Uh, the dealings in Langman and Mephisto with his friend doing shenanigans in Langman. That's where I'm at in the story, in the game currently. So I know what's gonna happen. Just to clarify, if you're looking for a completely blind reaction, probably not here. Maybe you're gonna find someone who's not familiar with the game, but is gonna watch the anime. Maybe not, hard to tell. I haven't seen particularly many reactions to this series yet, at least. I have seen a couple of mashups of those reactions, though. Curiously enough, one of those mashups included my reaction, which is interesting because they included my reaction before I had the chance to even start recording this episode. They pulled my reaction from some other anime and just in the cacophony of voices being mashed up and reacting all at once. I guess they were hoping for nobody to be able to hear that I'm talking about a completely different anime. That's what they do. That's what mashup channels do. But yeah, regardless, not a blind reaction. I just want to watch the anime and see how they did. Is the main story presented in perhaps a little bit more easy to digest way? The story in Arknights can be hella confusing, and not even because it's like particularly complex, but just because of the presentation. You have like two random people talking about something that's like extremely vague to the point of being completely disregardable, and then suddenly it becomes important and you have three other people out of nowhere talking about some shit completely out of the left field, and it's just a narrative mess. So hopefully the anime will deliver a bit of a better, bit of a more coherent and cohesive story. I heard there are some changes made to the game itself when it comes to the text in the main story to more reflect what's gonna be shown in the anime, so perhaps they do realize that they kinda dropped the ball on the early story and are trying to fix that. Later stories, great. Events, great. Early chapters, I'd rather not, honestly. So my camera is having some frame rate issues, so I'm gonna turn on the lights. Kept them turned off because this little fella looks better with lights off, but it's time to turn them on. What else? What else do I need to say on the topic before we start? I haven't seen any GIFs, any. I did see a couple screen caps, I guess, with like Amiya's face, and that's about all I've seen. Some memes on the Arknights subreddit, but nothing in the spoiler territory, and besides that, you can't really spoil the story to someone who knows it. But yeah, I haven't seen any bits or pieces of the anime itself, so I guess my reaction will be blind in that regard. If you do want to see a blind reaction of me to some other gacha based anime, then that's gonna be Girls Frontline. It's not entirely blind because the story of the anime covered a couple of the chapters that I have played, but the rest was completely uncharted territory to me. Uh, but yeah, besides that, it is what it is. I'm familiar with the story, and familiar with the anime, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how good it is or how bad. So far, gacha adaptations weren't particularly like stellar. Girls Frontline adaptation was decent, decent to good, unless you're a gun nut, because I heard that some of the sounds and models of guns were completely and utterly off. I don't pay attention to that, so hey, I enjoyed myself. Haven't seen the Azure Lane anime, and I haven't seen the Precon one, although from what I heard, the Precon anime is actually fucking good by its own merit, not even by the merit of being a gacha based anime, but stands up on its own. And yeah, we'll see how this one is. You're gonna need your timer to sync up your own copy. I'm gonna need my sound. No, wait, three S's: subs, sound, support. Support the channel. If you want monetarily, Patreon, throw links in the description. And if you don't want to spend any money, share my content, spread the word. It always helps a lot. And consider subscribing, because I play gacha sometimes and I stream that on the channel, so might want to hang out for that and for other anime I'm gonna be reacting to. But right now, we're watching episode 1 of Arknights Prelude to Dawn in 3, 2, 1, go. Doctor. Hello, Amiya. Ooh. That's an interesting voice. Like, spinning around my head in stereo. Guard. I wonder if it's Teresa talking. Best daughter animated. At last. Her face is a little squishy, but... But Doteru is here. Medic. And that's Guard or Vanguard? I forgot the name of this dude. Yeah, the reunion is on the way. Just completely white, pale skin, dead eyes. Doctor really looks like a fucking mummy. Opening? No. Yeah, that's a guard. Music on point, as always. I mean, Hypergriff is just a music company that's masking as a game studio, probably for tax reasons. Maybe we're gonna be able to glean some more details about the nature of this location of this world. I mean, I know we're in Chernobyl, but this like hospital facility. Also, I already see the first changes compared to the story in the game. Yeah, after this much time spent in some sort of medical sarcophagus, yeah, all of Doctor's muscles are probably atrophied. Yeah, someone should probably carry the Doctor. You should probably get like a stretcher or a wheelchair or something. I love how the medic has the medic symbol on her headband. Can't remember if she has it in the game as well. Footsteps everywhere. Shouldn't have made that sound. How'd you know they're lying, though? I mean, besides them lacking the get up. Doberman is here. I can hear the whip. Best girl has arrived. Genuinely, the reason I started playing Arknights was I just happened upon some art of Doberman on, let's just say, image aggregator sites, and I was immediately enamored. Doctor is barely able to breathe right now. Oh, PRTS. Hope you remember your Google account password to log into the game. That's some terror in their eyes. Cold sleep, so it was hibernation. Yeah, they were planning to recover a genius. They recovered an amnesiac. True. You gotta make the best out of the situation you're in. Might as well just extract him, her, them. Spoiler, we never do. At least so far. I mean, as far as I'm in the story. Maybe later on, Doctor does recover some memories. I've no clue. Or maybe already did, I just couldn't figure it out from the complexities of the story. That's entirely possible. Probably an ambush. Yeah, they very much are in danger. I mean, that was a very easy way out, wasn't it? Oh, hello, Ace. Bang out! Bang out. Also, I just noticed the video is letterboxed. It's not 16 by 9 resolution. Yep, we're in Chernobog. And it does look very Soviet. I'm familiar with those landscapes being from Central Europe. Central, mind you. Yeah, our first shots of the presso are coming off the tap. Last I remember, PRTS was very passive aggressive. Hello, Ace. I love Ace's voice. I mean, it was quite the obvious ambush, honestly, but yes, very much so. Right, I was waiting when people are gonna mention the thunder. Also, perfect choice of a voice for the Doctor. Hard to tell if it's a young man or a mature woman. Yes. Yeah, survival of the few versus survival of the many. Welcome back, Dokuta. Drones in the employ of Rhodes Island. I don't think there is any operator that actually uses airborne drones in the game. Ground based, sure. Mayor, for example, but airborne? Ah, yes. The line. Say the line, Amiya. And then she rodosed over the reunion. Who's that? Who's causing explosions? Arts. Yeah, they have a caster on the high tiles. And rappel in the back. Have some Originite Prime for the first clear. Dead or unconscious? Unconscious. Well, Catastrophe is about to hit Chernobog, so for how long will she be fine? No, tactical prowess isn't really stored like a muscle memory. Yeah? Catastrophe is about to hit this place. You'll probably be better off running out of Chernobog, yeah. I love this shot. And that's an armed drone. This one belongs to Reunion. Hello. What was your name? Not Skull Shatterer. The other one. The one that always gets pushed off the map with Shaw. In pretty much every map he appears. Yep. I think that's the first time I have a look at full bit of Amiya's infection. Mm, not everywhere. There are places where they don't either don't give a fuck about Oripathy or otherwise don't ostracize you. Kierag would be one. Sargon as well. Yep, that's the purpose of Rhodes Island. The catastrophe is growing ever closer. Yep, not long. I mean, they are probably both going to die in the upcoming catastrophe. But I guess they do have a couple more hours to live. Friend zoned. I mean, not really. Amiya is a daughter. She's not a wife, she's a daughter. Time to do your dailies. Hypergrave Studio Montan. And that's it. We didn't get an opening or an ending. Color me surprised. Like as I said, Hypergrave is a music studio that's only masking as a game studio, so you would expect that they would put some songs in the show, but apparently not. Okay, so as usual, in case you're unfamiliar with how it's done on the channel. Now, we're gonna go through it again. Shall we? Let's. I love what they did with Doctor. How the Doctor looks completely desaturated, completely black and white, completely grayscale. There's not a little bit of like pink fleshiness in Doctor's skin. There's not a bit of pigment in their hair, not a bit of pigment in their eyes. Like a corpse, like a dried out, mummified corpse. And I honestly love this look. I really do. Because it highlights uh, the game in general, in the story and in the auxiliary stories, let's just say, doesn't really make a good point of many things. One such thing is, why the fuck is the Doctor wearing a hood with a mask all the time? It's an environmental suit. The Doctor needs it to essentially, maybe not necessarily stay alive, but it's kind of the same deal like with the Quarians in Mass Effect. Essentially, the Doctor needs it to support their life functions, because after being however much time in the sarcophagus, which is speculated to be a healing sarcophagus, not just something that freezes you cryogenically, but also heals your body in the process, or perhaps brings you back to life even. There are many various theories. I don't know which one is the more plausible to me. Personally, I think it's a mixture of cryogenics and healing the body in the meantime. I don't know how the Doctor sustained those injuries, so I have no clue about that. But this anime, this episode really does show us that the Doctor really isn't well. Uh, Looks completely dead, is constantly coughing, is extremely weak, so it makes sense that that the Doctor would have to wear that environmental suit, even if only to filter the air for their lungs to work better, or something along those lines. Yeah, I really did enjoy this episode for how much it expanded on what you would have otherwise experienced in the game itself. It's not just a 100%, it's not just a one-to-one retelling of what happened in the game. There is plenty of additional things, there's plenty of additional context, additional lore. I'm down. Cardioplegia solution, hemostat. Sorry for making you suffer again. Yeah, I don't know whose voice that is. Maybe Theresa. I don't know. Hard to say. Maybe some mental link with Calci. But yeah, the Doctor is alive. The Doctor is, while not quite healthy, body temperature, blood pressure, everything else is in the norm. Everything looks good. Exfiltrate immediately. Let's get you changed and moving. That's not exactly how it went in the source material. I mean, I guess in the game, they were ambushed in the chamber with that sarcophagus, which I'm assuming this is the chamber, and inside is the sarcophagus. The reunion just got in, and then they had to run out of the facility, and the rest of battles with Reunion was in the streets of Chernobog. This time around, in this version, it seems like they did make it out of the chamber and almost made it out of the facility before meeting a Reunion in full force. Which is an interesting change that I don't dislike. It adds a little bit of events, I guess, to the story, and it adds a little bit of, not padding, but spaces things out a little bit more, right? Because in the game, it's, oh, you wake up, everything's normal. Oh no, the reunion is attacking, and it happens super quick, super fast. Here we have a chance to go around the place, sneak around. You see that Scout has a Scouter guard. I think that Scout has a crossbow. That the Doctor isn't fully well, and so on and so forth. It gives time to set up the story, the feeling, the mood, the atmosphere. It's especially apparent in shots like this. I love some of the shots in this episode in general. Pretty much all the shots where it's like a super wide, super open shot, or otherwise just wide, not necessarily open, but the characters are just at the bottom edge or at the top edge. It really shows the scale, the massive, massive scale of those places. In the great majority of scenes here, like this shot, the characters are super small, right? Compared to usual, how it usually is in anime, where you're focused on characters. This is focused on the environments. And yeah, like here, for example, you see how absolutely massive this is, just how deep it goes. Deep enough for there to be some sort of like fog miasma thing at the bottom, collected, gathered. You can't even see the bottom of this shaft. And that's not the only shaft like that, because there's another one nearby. It really, really emphasizes just how huge and completely empty and utilitarian this place is. The feeling of emptiness, the feeling of just being stifled, being like crushed by the weight of it all, by the weight of these concrete blocks that make up everything. And those walls are probably, I mean, we know just how thick they are. They're like 2 or 3 meters thick, with steel bars, the thickness of a person. It's just huge and overbearing and claustrophobic. And that's exactly the feeling of the early episode. Not just the early episodes of Arknights, but it's the feeling that I would associate with. It would be a spoiler for people who aren't familiar with the game, I guess. So, as usual, I'm gonna hold up my hand while I say the spoiler, and I'm gonna put it down when I'm done. The cities are actually mobile. They move around on tracks or wheels or what have you, and we are in the underbelly of one such city, and it looks exactly and precisely how I would expect it to look. So the look here is exactly how I would expect it. The atmosphere, the crushing feeling. Uh, I love this gesture of Amiya just not patting but like caressing Doctor's back. It's a very extremely like nostalgic and familiar gesture to me. Whenever I had a hard time and I was crying as a kid, or I was sick and I don't know, projectile vomiting or something, just bent over a bucket. My mom would always do that. She would sit next to me and caress my back. And yeah, yeah, it's like super nostalgic and super good feeling, good memory. I really do like it. You can rest up properly once we're back on the ship. Yeah, they mention explicitly a ship. Uh, Plenty of reunion around. I love the shading and the shadows and the lighting in some of the scenes. Like you can see the style, the art style here isn't like, how should I say it? it's not usual for anime, right? Like most most anime studios have very like defined line work, and everything has the line art of pretty uniform thickness around. There aren't any breaks in the line work, and there is some very distinct like anime style that has its sub art styles, and ultimately, be it Trigger or Mappa or Cloverworks or whatever other studio, they or more or less adhere to that. This looks distinctly different to me, at least. Very thin, very scratchy almost line work at times, with visible gaps, like it was done with a very thin and very sharp and very hard um, pencil that you can almost feel the scratches on paper. I like it. I really do enjoy the art style here. It's at the same time it can be simplistic at times, but not in a bad way. Like there isn't particularly much shading on Amiya's face, but there doesn't have to be, right? It's not about making everybody overly detailed. They leave details like additional shading for moments like this, for moments of importance. But at the same time, it's not like super simple and super cheap art style like the Novice Alchemist series I'm watching right now. It's a good series, but the art style does feel very cheap. In the art here, there is even textures on some places. There are scratches on their masks. There's the texture of concrete, but it all works somehow because it uses a similar color palette and similar rules, I guess, and it does seem like it's on the same plane of existence and made in the same batch, in the same pass, I guess you could say. Because fairly often, I often talk about not gradients, textures in the environments. They often look like someone just made a selection in Photoshop and just filled it with a texture and called it a day, and it doesn't look good. Sometimes there's like I don't know a ver- vertical board and a horizontal board, and they have the same vertical grain on them, right? Those sorts of issues. That's why usually when I see textures, I'm a little bit apprehensive. But in this case, it works. It works. The art style in general works for me. Is distinctly distinct from usual anime, but it's good. And it's the same as they use in their PVs because it's their studio that makes it. If that's an important thing to note, it's not that. Why did my camera freeze? Okay, stop and start. Connection failed. What? Oh, I have no internet right now, and my camera works through Wi-Fi. Great. So we're gonna continue with this freeze frame, or actually, I'm gonna pause and wait for the internet to come back. Okay, we're back. My internet is back. I can connect my phone again. I tried with like USB cable, but it's far too short. I need to get myself a good and proper cam. I actually found a decent deal on Elgato Facecam, and I've been wondering about getting that one. I don't know how good it is, but people say it's pretty good, so I might get one. Regardless, what was I talking about? About the art style and about how this anime isn't made by any like known studio, so to speak. It's not like Hypergrift paid Mappa or Cloverworks or whatever other studio. None other come to mind actually. Trigger, I guess maybe they also do some work for hire to make this for them. It's their studio, or Yostar's studio, I guess, Yostar Pictures, and they make PVs for the game like Holy Night Light and all the others, and now they're making the full anime as well. So this is curious, this is interesting, and I'm interested in seeing how they're gonna do with such a long form long form project. That's not just like a 5 minute long PV, but 8 episodes of a good and proper anime. Doberman, my very first Arknights waifu, as I said, the reason I started playing Arknights, no joke. Actually, two reasons I started playing Arknights. First was Doberman. Second was I started playing Alchemy Stars during the Dragon Maid collab because I wanted those Dragon Maid units and I got all of them, I'll have you know. And then I was like, hey, I already started playing a gacha game. What's another one? So I downloaded Arknights as well because I remembered, hey, there's that Arknights game that's apparently pretty good and it has Doberman waifu in it. So might as well download that one. And now I'm sitting at like 7, 8, 9 different gachas that I rotate around with my playing right now. Arknights, Blue Archive, Alchemy Stars, Girls Frontline, although that one's a little bit on the back burner. Punishing Grey Raven, Revived Witch, Azure Lane. I started playing Artery Gear during their Madoka collab, and I also started playing not Epic 7, what's it called? Counterside. Yeah, Counterside. I even streamed Counterside. My first look at it. No, Steam, please don't update. If someone's gonna get fucky wacky because Steam decided to update, I swear on me, mom. Yeah, and Counterside. So quite a few, quite a few. Fortunately, I don't have the time for all of them. Oh well. But yeah, Doberman is here. I love Doberman. I love the trope of those like tiny little round Hime eyebrows, I think they're called. I love characters with Hime eyebrows. And I love characters based on Dobermans. I don't know why. I'm not a huge fan of dogs in general. Like, I don't actively dislike them, but I'm not like a huge dog lover. I don't particularly care for Doberman as a race of dogs, breed of dogs. Sorry, but characters based on Dobermans always strike my fancy somehow. Oh, just so happens. Yeah, another shot that establishes the sheer scale and the sheer massiveness of this area. Seem to be looking for something, probably for the doctor. With you in command, I'm sure we'll all make it above ground safely. And yeah, PRTS. Another thing that was kind of sort of unclear in the game, what exactly is PRTS? Is it genuinely that the doctor has a tablet and on the tablet points who should go in which direction instead of like being on comms and saying, hey, yo, Ace, go 100 meters straight? The doctor just taps, and Ace goes. Was it some. What the fuck is going on with my camera? Sorry, camera, my phone. I'm using a phone as my camera if you didn't know that. You can help me buy a proper one if you support me on Patreon or Throne. Always a good time to plug my stuff. Sorry. Right, it was unclear. At times, it seemed like PRTS is a system that like allows the Doctor to virtually walk around the Rhodes Island landship and visit all those different facilities. Sometimes it seemed like it was something that the Doctor uses to issue commands. Like, there was one line, I thing from PRTS that even though you are here now, your body is still on the battlefield or something along those lines, which would imply like virtual reality or a mind link transfer thing. But apparently, it's just a phone with Arknights installed on it. And here we have the reveal of the amnesia. Another thing that in the game was apparent from the very beginning, I think even before the reunion attacked in the chamber of the sarcophagus, the doctor was revealed to be amnesiac. I love the faces in tense moments. I really do. The added shading and the emotions on their faces, the subtle wiggle, the eye opening, yeah, the jiggle of the eyes. Amiya looks like a ball in this shot. Sorry, she really does look like a sphere. There was a game, I think it's still alive, Toribash. It's essentially two puppets, and it's like a turn-based fighting game where you take a turn and you like say relax this joint and tension this joint, and you play the turn, and both of your characters do a single like a few seconds of a move, and then you say okay relax this joint and then tension this joint, right? And the characters have spherical heads, and you can make your own skins for that game. And this looks like a custom skin for Toribash. I'm sorry, it really does like a custom skin for Toribash. Can I find? I mean, I for sure can. Some screenshots from Toribash just to show you. And I'm gonna check out if it's even alive still. Oh, it's on Steam. Would you look at that? Yeah, it was released in 2006. I don't want videos, I want images. Reject all cookies by Google, if I may. Um, what would be a good picture? I don't know, this one, I guess. And window capture, Toribash. There you go. They even have like a custom head texture editor in the game now, apparently. And yeah, that's how characters in Toribash look. And that's exactly what Amiya looks like. Toribash realistic head. Can we get that? Yeah, like that. That's just Amiya. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just like tell me you don't see the similarity. Okay, regardless. I don't know who you are either. Yeah, it's not so much about the doctor not knowing, not having memories, as the doctor not recognizing anybody. That's the tragic part here. Is it treatable? How long does it take to recover? As far as we're concerned, it's not treatable, and it can't be, and it doesn't take time to recover. It can't be recovered. Although about treatable, I don't know. Is someone treating the doctor for amnesia? I'm not sure actually. Perhaps one of the operators is. But of course, Amiya, the ever believing, the ever trustful in the doctor. But ultimately, the leader, the heart of Rhodes Island. If the doctor is the head, Amiya is the heart. So, of course, she convinces Doberman in the end. Smooth sailing, and this just looks like a trap. I mean, straight out. You can't see what's outside because of the sun. There is probably a lip above you where people can be hiding and you won't be able to see them, and people were actually hiding and they weren't able to see them. Why is my camera freezing still? Motherfucker. Okay. Regardless. So it does smell immediately like a trap. I do like the detail on the concrete floor here. You very often see that in like underground garages, at least around here, and not just garages but also other places. It gives you at least it gives you, I guess, a little bit of additional grip. All those shapes embossed in the concrete. Are we good now? Yeah. So it's nice to see that. Nice to see that little bit of a detail. And of course, it was a trap. I love those additional like emotion lines, I guess, on the characters. It's not just a plain blank face. Is it because Steam is updating something? Oh, you motherfucker! Stop right now, criminal scum! Exit Steam. Exit. Exit now. There we go. Steam was updating something, and that somehow OBS didn't like it or something. I have no clue. Oh boy, that's an adventurous recording, isn't it? Thankfully, Ace Ex Machina, bang out. And I love this vista. I love this picture. It's so unmistakably Soviet and post-Soviet. Like, it's amazing how they captured the cityscape of the Soviet bloc so perfectly well. It looks like at first glance, it kind of looks like an urban hellscape. But notice all the greenery. I live at a block of flats just like that from a post-Soviet era, from back when Poland was still under the communist regime. And sure, we have like aluminium electrical installation instead of copper. Sure, there is no active ventilation. Sure, there are issues with like the walls cracking a little bit and the roof leaking sometimes if the water thing, the thing that takes water from the roof and brings it down, is clogged. Sure, but the greenery everywhere. There is like, I have like a miniature park, and all I need to do is walk out of my apartment complex and turn left. And there is a playground. There is I guess a joint court, football and basketball court. There is trees. There is flowers. There is bushes. There is just everything, and everything is nearby. There's a school in walking distance, couple of schools actually, shops, pharmacies, everything. It doesn't look pretty. It's just a concrete slab of a block of flats. But the convenience and the space is amazing. When I sometimes look at modern developments, there are plenty of them, and it's just a block next to a block next to a block next to a block, and all greenery you get is like a 20 centimeter wide strip of grass between the asphalt road and the pavement sidewalk, and you don't get anything else there. You want to go shopping, you need to leave your neighborhood. You want to go to school, you need to leave your neighborhood. You want to go to a park, you need to leave your neighborhood. With this kind of architecture, your neighborhood has everything. It's completely and utterly self-sufficient, and I love that. And I couldn't live in like a modern neighborhood, modernly built, because that is a hellscape. This could look better, but at least it's convenient and fun, and everything is there, and there's greenery, stuff like that. I got sidetracked. But yeah, I love this vista. I really truly do. Only now are we out of the underground facility. And of course, Reunion kills people indiscriminately, completely and utterly indiscriminately. They are portrayed as gray morally, and there are many instances in the game where it's like, oh no, the reunion members have their families and they're afraid of dying and they are just like us. But then you see this and you're like, fuck the reunion. Man, fuck the reunion. Like, genuinely. Rhodes Island would never do anything of the sort and never has done anything of the sort. Maybe in like the pre-game times, things like that might have happened. Although, from what I know, although the pre-amnesiac doctor was willing to make sacrifices, it was always like willing sacrifices. For example, some operator under the command of Rhodes Island might be deemed to be a needed sacrifice for the operation to succeed, and that operator would be like, yeah, I knew this day is gonna come, so sure, I'm gonna do that. Rhodes Island would never sacrifice bystanders, or in this case, it wasn't even a sacrifice, it was just a thoughtless murder of a complete and utter innocent bystander. And yeah, PRTS, Root is safe. It's been a long time, Doctor. It really has been Ace. It really has been. Yeah. Ace is Arcosauria? Arcosaura? Something like that, I think. I'm not sure. In any case, nobody here is a human. Everybody is to some degree a demi-human and has some animal traits. Not even Ace. As long as you're healthy. I love Ace's voice. We're gonna have to take a look at the voice actors. And yeah, she's right here. Reunion just wanted to like protest against the unfair treatment of the infected, but now looting, riots, arson, they're going nuts, and that's only going to see them ostracized even further. Yes, exactly. That's how it works. And in the years past, we had an exact example of that very same thing in real world, where people stood up for a just cause, and then some opportunists started looting, rioting, arsoning, and they became ostracized even further. And that's how you divide a society. That's how you drive a societal divide, essentially. And there's no good way out of it. That's the worst part. Yeah, Reunion, terrorist organization formed by people infected with the Oripathy. Mm, Ursa's government is trying to shut them down, but isn't able to because there's plenty of Reunion coming to Ursus, to Chernobog. I wouldn't be surprised if they plan to take advantage in the commotion. Yeah, the commotion connected with the upcoming catastrophe. I wonder why isn't Chernobog on the move though? Why is nobody like giving a fuck? Reunion goons are on the way. And of course, we have to save the innocents. That's just Amiya, right? The heart of Rhodes Island, as I said. But it is a choice. Do we run after those two and try to save them and potentially lose a couple of our operators? Or do we bail and they will die, but we will survive and we might be able to help multiple people in the future? The survival of the few versus the survival of the many. A classic trolley problem, essentially. Do you sacrifice two people indirectly, or do you become directly responsible for the deaths of two people from your own squad? Right? Doberman isn't wrong here at the same time, right? Like, we all know our hearts cry out for Amiya that yeah, she's in the right. We should try to help people, but at the same time, Doberman is correct. You can't just get the needs of the few in front of the needs of the many. Thankfully, the doctor is here. Instant glow and sparkle in her eyes. Deploying drones. Just flying out of Scout's, I don't know, bag. Yeah, I think this is genuinely the very first time that I see Rhodes Island use airborne drones. And as always, the absolute trust that Emiya has in the Doctor. And everybody has, maybe not absolute trust in Amiya, but she has a way of having her way with others. That sounded bad, but what I meant is that she has a way of convincing others that we should do the right thing. Silent we shall be if conflict is avoidable, but we shall fight tooth and nail if we deem it necessary. The line was different in the game. Silent we shall be if conflict is avoidable, but fight tooth and nail should it be necessary. I think it went something like that. There wasn't the part of should we deem it necessary, because I mean you can deem it necessary because of your just you just think it's necessary, so you deem it necessary. Kind of like the whole conundrum with PayPal changing the rules so that you can be fined by PayPal, but a private company fined for spreading misinformation. Who's to say what's misinformation, right? And that's the same case here. The original didn't have that bit and was more like, I don't know, well, well-meaning, I guess you could say. You couldn't spin it in a bad way. I guess that's how we could say it. Time for you to pay for your sins with your life. Yeah, reunion is just unredeemable, irredeemable. Some people, I guess, but I mean, they are all ultimately responsible, at least partially. Does any of those operators have explosives? I guess Ace, maybe. We don't know much about what Ace is capable of from the games. He had a flashbang, so it stands to reason he would also have a grenade, a frag, or an HE. I love the effect on of Amiya's arts. And the sound. Yeah, the sound of her arts is chef's kiss. Her arts are black, she's no normal caster. Apparently so. Phase 3. Doberman with a whip. And phase 4. Ace from behind with a chokehold. Mission accomplished. Here we go. Even with your memory gone, your body retained all of its experience. I don't think it's retained in the body. I think it might just be like a partial amnesia, or maybe it's just Doctor is a natural born genius, tactical genius, and you can wipe out the memories, but you can't wipe out the intrinsic characteristics of a mind. Same way that Doctor can still speak, right? And didn't lose that ability. So some of that memory does remain. Uh, I also love the design of this Ursus woman. How she's just like insignificant NPC essentially, but she's wearing a little bit of an earring, right? Because it's a brand new, sudden situation in Chernobog. It's not like they've been months under siege. Reunion just attacked. She was probably with her daughter going shopping, so of course she was dressed up nicely, with a coat, with a pair of nice earrings, right? I like this little bit of detail. Yeah, some nice brooch on her neck. And of course they ostracize the infected, because everybody does. Everybody does that. You get everyone through this alive. Indeed, that's what matters. I love this shot. Again, kind of shows the characters at the top instead of at the bottom. It doesn't serve to create the feeling of a scale. It serves to create the feeling of like being cut off, being isolated from the world, from the societies as a whole, of because they're infected, right? And thus they're isolated. Even though they do the right thing, people are going to ostracize them for the sheer fact that they are infected. And that's a reunion drone. And this is what's his face? I know who he is. I just forgot the name. Arknights bosses. Category boss enemies on Arknights wiki. Crown Slayer. Yep. That's Crown Slayer. Skull Shatterer has a gas mask. Yeah, that's all I wanted to know. So park up ahead, we'll cut through and rendezvous with Nerl and Scout. I can't wait for the entrance of Nerl. And another shot where the characters are small and creates the sense of absolute massiveness of the architecture here. I cannot wait for Nerl. I guess I need to explain why that mother pushed us away. Yeah, we're all infected. Interesting how Amiya's infection is black and red, and everybody else's infection is just black. And discrimination and prejudice against the infected exists in every country. Not every country. I'm gonna have to correct you on that. In Kierag, the infected aren't really being prejudiced against, they aren't really being shunned, because the blessing of Kiera essentially protects Kierak from catastrophes and whatnot, so people there live very well. They have no reason to use scapegoats like the infected. And also Sargon, at least the swampy areas of Sargon, where Gavial and her tribe lives, because in there, nobody gives a fuck, nobody even knows what Oripathy is. Oh, cool, you're growing rocks on your hand. Well, I guess you're gonna die early. We don't know what that is, but you wanna come to the barbecue later? Right? That's essentially how it goes in Sargon. Using biased reporting, the Ursus government has instilled a psychological fear of Oripathy. And most people here think that the infected should be exterminated. Yeah, there is a couple of issues with that. Not like in the context of the anime, but in like in world context. Psychological fear of oripathy. If there was a disease in our real world that makes the person who contracts it eventually explode and infect everybody around them, we would fear that pretty fucking badly. I feel. So it's not like there was need for like biased reporting, because I mean oripathy is something to fear. And then there is the bit about most people here think the infected should be exterminated. That's bad thinking on the part of the people who think that, because you don't contract oripathy by being in the range of explosion of another person with oripathy. You contract oripathy by mining Originium, by coming into contact with Originium, by working with Originium in like making things with Originium technology. You can contract it. It's like black lung for coal miners and coal workers. So exterminating the infected won't stop the infections. And yeah, the cycle of hatred will probably continue. It will. It will. And we're trying to find a cure for oripathy, and the doctor was the lead researcher for that cure. And of course, the catastrophe is coming. I do like this little tiny moment of levity here. A little bit of a, maybe not a joke, but a light-hearted interaction compared to everything we had before. Right, ostracization, uh, death, and murder, and things like that. Here it's just a brief moment of just fun. Probably not for Scout. He's got quite a few arrows in him, but yeah, one of the nurse dudes has a tail. I can see that. That's cool. You're a Rhodes Islander just like before, and to me you're a very precious friend. PRTS, let's roll. Okay. Oh, that took me a while to go through. We're already past the hour mark. But Arknights annual list. That's what I want to take a look at right now. I guess I can take off my headphones. Ain't gonna need them. There we go. Analyst Arknights. And can I get the window? No, that's not it. Someone's reaction to it. Fuck. That, nope. Okay, for some reason OBS doesn't see this browser window, so I'm gonna pop the display capture. That's the description, yada yada yada. And yeah, here you can see all of the PVs from Arknights, because of course it has relation to that, and all the manga about the Rhine Lab, cooking manga, all sorts. First of all, studios, Yostar Pictures. Just like I mentioned, Yostar Pictures, who made other things for Yostar. Arknights PVs, Blue Archive PV, Sorairo Utility, whatever that is, Azure Lane Anime, Blue Archive PV, Azure Lane, Blue Archive, some other gachas, Arknights. That's Yostar Pictures. It's the anime division of Yostar, basically. Now, staff. Let's start with the staff. Hypergriff, original creator, original character design, director Yuki Watanabe, and assistant director, I guess, Masataka Nishikawa. Director also directed other Arknights shorts. No surprise here. Animation director and director on Breakers, whatever that is. That's like... Oh, that's an interesting concept. It seems to be a... Yeah, that seems to be a sports anime, but with people who are... Like, yeah, missing arms, missing legs, Paralympic. Okay, that's cool. Actually, I'm gonna... Why not? Maybe one day. Oh, I'm not logged in. I'm gonna do that later then. What else? Key animation from Uchino made key animation on Gridman, key animation director, and so on New Game, key animation on Little Witch Academia, One Punch Man, Plastic Memories, Kill la Kill, key animation episode 11, Mikakunin the Shin Kokei. And that's it. Mostly key animator roles. Only recently started getting into directing. And Masataka Nishikawa also directed PVs and shorts for Blue Archive, Azure Lane, and worked on mostly the same projects. Breakers, Gridman, Little Witch Academia, Brand New Animal as well, and Dynasian. Next we have, let's say, art director. I wanna check it out. Minoru Onishi, who art directed Sakugan and Hatage Kemonomichi, Girls und Panzer. Okay. Interesting. Gibiate, whatever that would be. It seems like a post-apocalyptic fantasy series. Might be cool to check out one day. Art direction for Lupin. What else do we have here? Art design, I guess. Art design Ryu Sakamoto. Also art design for Sakugan, Gibiate, Hatage, Buso Shoujo Machiavellianism. Oh, that's a series I haven't thought of in a good while. And that's essentially it. And Lord El Melloi. We have the sound director by Yuki Watanabe, who also sound directed other shorts, also worked on Breakers, also Genomade, also Gridman, also Little Witch Academia, New Game, Yushiki Kill La Kill, also Key Animator, for the most part. Wait. Oh, Yuki Watanabe, director and sound director both. That makes sense, I guess. Yuki Hayashi, music. Although music, I would suspect Hyper. I would suspect Hypergriff to make that. Also music for Haikyuu, Yusha Party, Boku no Hero Academia, Haikyuu, Boku no Hero, Pokemon, Karakuri Circus, plenty of sports anime it seems. Oh no, it's just Haikyuu. Gundam, Dive, and some other shows as well. Kizneiver, another anime I gotta watch one day. Plenty of roles when it comes to making music. Animation producer, sure, Takeo Hata. Mostly just the shorts, and Hayate no Gotoku, production assistant on one of the episodes. Who else is there that I would want to check out? I guess we could check out theme song performance by Reona. And the rest is listed solely and purely for episode 1, except producer Susumu Shibata, that I want to check out. And I guess Kota Jitsukawa as well. And the executive producer, why not? Sure. Riona also made theme songs for Shadow House, Nanatsu no Taizai, SAO, Happy Sugar Life. Okay. Susumu Shibata, producer for the shorts. Kota Jitsukawa, producer for the shorts. Hai Mao, executive producer just for this. Oh, that's Lowlight. Of course. The VP of Hypergriff. Makes sense. Okay. Characters. Let's check them out. Some characters that haven't appeared yet. First of all, Doctor Yuki Kaida and Amiya Tomoyo Kurosawa. Yuki Kaida, Pipimi, who hasn't voiced Pipimi. Narrator and China in Hetalia, Commissioner in The God of High School, Echidna in Queen's Blade, someone in Kuroko no Basket. Nobody else I would recognize, I'm afraid. Nope. I don't know any of those characters. Marie Leszczyńska in Le Chevalier d'Ion. That's a Polish name. That's why it caught my attention, I guess. Someone in Hunter x Hunter. Someone in Dot Hack. And that's about it. Not as prominent of a voice actress as I thought. And Tomoyo Kurosawa, the voice of Amiya, also voiced Pink in some Mahou Shoujo game, Mahou Shoujo anime. That looks interesting. Rebecca in Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Look no further. P7 in those Frontline. Ayano Toki in Yurikam movie. Those seem like gacha roles mostly. Yeah, South Dakota in Azure Lane. Someone in Shumatsu no Valkyrie. Amiya Mutsu in Azure Lane. Saya in Maho no Tabitai. Some people in Boku no Hero Academia. Some person. Nao Kaizaki in Hisomaso. And the rest seem to be some idol-ish shows. Tina Sprout in Black Bullet. That's a character I know. And that'll do it. Who else did we meet? We're gonna start with those. Doberman. Doberman Atsumi Tanezaki. That's a perfect cast. Chise from Mahotsukai no Yome. Anya. Doberman and Anya have the same voice actress. What the fuck? Sure. Okay. That's a bit of a range on her, isn't it? Anybody else? Someone from Beastars? Haven't seen Beastars. Ryoko Kuriba from Railgun. Someone in Mob Psycho. Gakuen Babysitters. Right, the anime that was supposed to show the message of, hey, having tiny little kid toddlers is fun. Make some. Make some. Japan needs you to make some toddlers. Please, I beg of you, make some toddlers. The anime. Someone from Demi-chan. And I don't really recognize other characters besides Chise and a couple others from different gachas. And Anya, of course. Ace Takashi Matsuyama. Those are roles that I do not recognize. Absolutely not. Nobody. G from Overlord. That's a role I do recognize. And besides that, I must say, not really anybody. Okay, that'll do it. Who else? I guess we can check out Guard and the Medic as well. And the rest. The rest we're gonna check out maybe at the end of the season. Guard Chiaki Kobayashi, who also voiced nobody I would recognize immediately. Seems to have voiced plenty of Bishonens though. Askeladd in Vinland Saga, that's a Bishonen if I've ever seen one. And Momo Asakura, voiced Medic, also voices someone from Akebi-chan no Sailor Fuku. Some idol show, it seems, characters. Manako from Monmusu. And nobody else I would recognize. Do I look up other characters as well? Okay, we're gonna meet Wei Yenwu, it seems. Interesting. Because there's plenty. I guess I'm dying to see who's gonna voice Nerl, so Ayane Sakura. And that'll do it. Ochako Uraka from Boku no Hero Academia. Solution from Overlord. There we go. Solution's voice? I guess that's gonna work. on a Nerl. Who else? Nobody I would recognize. Oh, also Nerl in Closure no Kimitsu. Prince Eugen. Oh, she is just the voice actress of Nerl. Of course, her voice is gonna fit because she's the voice actress of Nerl. Yeah. Misty in Pokemon. Someone in Grisaya, one of the Grisayas at least. Someone in Tokyo Ghoul. Someone in Darling in the Franxx. They really couldn't get like a better picture of her. And yeah, that's about it. Nerl is gonna be voiced by Nerl. That's all I need to know. I guess Tallulah. Tallulah doesn't really say anything in the game, so let's check her out. And I'm interested in seeing who's she gonna be voiced by. Maya Sakamoto, who also voiced Jeanne d'Arc from Fate, Mari from Evangelion, someone in Maiden Abyss, Shinobu from Owari Monogatari, or Monogatari in general. Someone from Recreators, another show I have to go back to eventually. And nobody else I would recognize. Well, I do recognize this character from Persona, although I've never actually played Persona. Any of the Persona games, actually. That'll do it. Anybody else that I feel like checking out? I mean, everybody's realistically gonna be voiced by their Japanese voice actors, but some characters don't have voices in the game. Patriot isn't listed, and I would be curious about Patriot. I would be curious about Crossnova. I guess, okay, Crown Slayer doesn't have a voice, Mephisto doesn't have a voice, and Misha doesn't have a voice, so let's check. And Wei and Wu doesn't have a voice. So let's check them out, and the rest we're gonna check out after we hear them in the anime. Sayaka Senbongi voices Crown Slayer and also voices immediately nobody I would recognize. Great. Glaceon in Pokemon. I guess that's a character I recognize. Someone in Violet Evergarden. Someone in Clockwork Planet. I dropped Clockwork Planet after episode 1, I think. The manga was good. The anime, kinda middling. Kohei Amasaki, who voices Mephisto, also voices plenty of Bishonens, plenty of young boys. Someone from Boku no Hero Academia. Gonna load, great. And nobody I would recognize. Someone in Black Clover. Another anime I dropped after the first episode because I couldn't stand the incessant screaming of the main character. Satsumi Matsuda, who voices Misha. Also voices... Is it gonna be another case of me not recognizing any of the characters? Someone in Kemono Friends 2. That's a series I haven't seen, although I have seen Kemono Friends 1. But after the whole drama with the season 2, I just didn't watch season 2. And that's it. And Koichi Yamadera, who voices Wei Yanwu, also voices Beerus in Dragon Ball, also voices Tongue, Lips, and Teeth in Baki. That's some names, alright. Someone from Gintama. Koichi Zenigata from Lupin. Mew from Pokemon. Batman from Ninja Batman. Otto from Shumatsu no Izetta. Okay, that's a character or rather, that's a series I recognize. I can't really remember the character in particular. And the rest is seems to be roles in like old-ish anime. What the fuck is this face? Someone in Precure. Maybe when I watch Precure, I'm gonna know who that is. That's a black hole. I mean, it says so right here, but I don't recognize that character. Obviously, haven't seen Precure yet. And the rest I really do not recognize. Okay, Spike Spiegel in Cowboy Bebop. That's a character I recognize. That's a character everybody recognizes. Spike Spiegel. Also Ein. And the rest is old anime that I just have not seen. I guess I know of Ranma, Ranma half, or 1, 2, or however you want to say it, but I don't know that character. And the rest is like really old anime, 1988. Damn. Were people even alive back then? Okay, I guess that's gonna sum it up. It also has Chinese voice acting. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, we're watching it in Japanese though, so that's gonna sum it up. There we go. Over an hour and a half. Damn, that's some time. Let's make the pumpkin look better. Right, maybe. No, that didn't change the lighting much. That was a good first episode. And I didn't feel like I was bored by it, which is something I was afraid of. That I'm just gonna sit here and like, yeah, I know that's gonna happen now. Yeah, I've seen that already. I've heard this line. I remember that. Oh, it's the character that's arriving when they were supposed to arrive. Oh well, I guess whoop-de-doo, right? I was thinking I'm gonna watch it like this, but no, there was actually enough brand new material and it was shifted around that I was entertained throughout. Honestly, genuinely. The quality, I was very afraid of the quality of the art and the animation and everything around as well, because it's one thing to make a 5 minute long PV every month, whenever, or every half a month, whenever a new event drops. It's another to make 8 episodes of 24 minutes each of a good and proper anime, right? Now, the studio has shown that they are certainly capable of doing some more long form things. With the Holy Night Light, for example, that was plenty long, and that was plenty close to an anime proper, so to speak. But in this one episode, they have shown me that they are capable of making anime proper. So yeah, that's good. I'm certainly not disappointed. I was afraid of being bored. I was afraid of being disappointed. I was neither, and that's the best possible outcome. Let's be honest here. I'm gonna be looking forward to more. I need to know what other changes they're gonna make. The changes they made so far are overall beneficial, in my opinion. They space out the main story beats a little bit more. They are truly setting up the atmosphere and the vibe of everything that's going on. That's not something that was exactly possible in the game, because the way Arknights the game presents story is very anemic. Like in some gachas, in most gachas nowadays, actually, the characters that are shown on the screen during like dialogue sections, during story sections, are animated. They might be live 2D, for example. They might have different expressions. When there's combat, then one character is gonna move and they're gonna clash on screen, quote unquote. There's gonna be some effects, some camera shake, right? Things like that to uh, bring some excitement to an otherwise just face dialogue. Uh, in case of Arknights, it is just face dialogue with a background. During the first, actually during the throughout of the story, CGs are fairly scarce, so it doesn't really serve to set up the vibe and the atmosphere of the world particularly much. Most of that, uh, most of the vibe of the world I'm getting from like fan art and from some descriptions. When someone manages to decipher something from the lore, the anime does much better job at it. If you're new to Arknights, if you consider playing Arknights, I highly recommend just watching the anime and then skipping the first 3 chapters or however many chapters it's gonna cover of story in the game, and you're probably gonna be better off for just skipping that and relying entirely on the anime. I don't think they're gonna remove some details. If anything, they're gonna add them. That's also cool that it's made by essentially the same company, well, the same publisher, because it means that Hypergriff can work very closely with Yostar Pictures, and they can add tidbits here and there, right? Something that is in the lore just isn't shown, and Yostar Pictures can use that to fill up the time and then give us some additional detail. It's not the case of adapting a light novel or something where details are usually just cut out instead of added. So I have high hopes. It's just 8 episodes, which is kind of a bummer. With 12 episodes, they could have covered another arc. But I guess the first 3 chapters of the story do make an arc. Then shenanigans in Langman start. So they would need like another 8 episodes or so to cover that. So yeah, I guess it's better to keep it to 8 episodes than stretch it to 12, or to have 12 and the last 4 episodes are essentially one big cliffhanger. So yeah, I'm fine with that. And if the reception is good, I can't see why they wouldn't make another one, another season. That would be cool to cover some more story, maybe even like events. That'd be great. I want to see the Nerl saga animated. Did my camera move? Or did it zoom out or something? You weren't supposed to see the reflection of my screen in my PC case. Yeah, this recording has been a mess. I guess that's just how it is. But yeah, right now we're gonna end it, I think. So you guys, you tell me. I've been talking my throat raw, so it's now your time to talk your fingers raw, and tell me down in the comments below what did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories. Haven't had any, because I I know exactly what's gonna happen. But yeah, what did you think of my reaction this episode? Down in the comments below. There's also going to be a channel on my Discord that you can join, and also talk about Arknights the anime and Arknights the gacha. We have a gacha channel, we have a gaming channel, stuff like that, so feel free to go here or click the link in the description. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Arknights but also Symphogear Axis, also Gundam Witch from Mercury, the Sword Isekai, the Novice Alchemist series, and I'm also gonna be recording the Madoka Magica movie and perhaps Magia Records as well. And I also stream sometimes, mostly gachas, Blue Archive, Alchemy Stars, things like that. So if that interests you, subscribe, click the bell, all that jazz. You know what to do because everybody tells you to do that. Support the channel if you want monetarily. Patreon Throne links in the description. For $10 a month, you get early access to non-seasonals like Madoka, like Symphogear, like whatever else is non-seasonal. And for just $1, you get a role on the Discord, and you also get a place in the credits. And you get the knowledge that you will help me finance a brand new camera so that I don't have any issues with it disconnecting or whatever. And I can use my phone during the recording if need be. And if you don't want to spend any money, because you don't have to, you can still help the channel a lot by sharing my content, spreading the word, growing the channel naturally. Like that really is helpful and desired. And with that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of supporters, and you can be one of them if only you so desire.